Hello everyone, how are you all? Most welcome to today's session and thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. I am extremely happy and some of you have subscribed the channel also. You have liked the channel and you have shared to your friends also my channel. And today in this session we will be discussing class 7 social science chapter 6. The age of reorganizations. Okay, what is the chapter? The chapter is 6, class 7 social science, the age of reorganization. Okay, fine. And what is the meaning of reorganization? First of all, I'll talk, and then before I talk regarding reorganization or the introductory part, let me also just bring out the concept of Bhavishya and Dhruv. You have been hearing in my lecture, in my class, there are two friends, they are traveling to Magadha. Magadha means present as Bihar. That's what the great Magadha empire that we have studied in the chapter 5 itself. Chapter 4 we have studied, and I hope you are watching my YouTube channel. Then if you are watching, then you are aware of my all presentations that I have, my journey coming from the chapter 1 to chapter 5 or 6 I am completing. And this is the first video of this chapter, and this chapter also is a quite lengthy chapter. I have divided into two parts, and many kingdoms, many kings are coming up, emerging or coming up after the downfall of the Mauryan Empire. The great Mauryan Empire period was known as Das. Hey, Pallavi, can you say what is called the great Mauryan Empire? Is called the period of Golden Era. Chandragupta Maurya is the pioneer, is the beginner of this kingdom, and then his grandson Ashoka, the great emperor, is the last king or last emperor of the great empire called Maurya Empire. Okay, that is different matter. Then here who is Bhavishya and Dhruv. Bhavishya and Dhruv are traveler, is a time travelers. There is a device called Itihas. Itihas time travel device. They are taking that device and going to the past. And they went to the Magadha, present as Bihar. They studied there, new things they observed, and then slowly they are going to different kingdoms, small kingdoms, taking the help of this time travel device, so-called Itihas. This travel, hope you know the meaning of time travel. That is a time travel already in this first or second chapter or the chapter 5 I have told and I have taught you what is actually time travel. And this time travel name is called, this device is called Itihas. With the help of this time travel, Bhavishya and Dhruv going to different kingdoms. And why they are going? They are going to different kingdoms, and they study the new things. What they study? They study the work of artifact, art, and literature. What is literature? Literature means masterpieces of working, writing, and reading writing parts. Maybe materials written and kept, the masterpieces, books and novels, or the encyclopedias written material is called literature. And that's what, and artifact means, see, the good designs, the good works, the sculptural works, then artworks are design works, and then art and craft works. Different kingdoms follow different styles, different methods, different designs. That's what this Bhavishya and Dhruv experience that different kingdoms have different workout or different techniques they have followed. then artwork, architectural work, craft work, designing work. That's what they witness different kingdoms. That is why Bhavishya and Dhruv, they come to know different knowledge in different kingdoms. Okay, with this small introductory part or the small case study that the different kingdoms were divided. There is no more a big one, only one empire, but rather the empire is being divided into small kingdoms. After the downfall of Maurya Empire, even so to say, after the downfall of Ashoka the Great, after fighting the Kalinga War, Ashoka the Great developed, and his name and fame was spreaded everywhere. And everybody came to know Ashoka the Great Emperor. And then he spreaded the teaching of Gautam Buddha, ahimsa, non-violence, and establishing peace. That style he followed and established in his big empire. That is why Ashoka the Great was well-known and famous emperor. Okay, after the great emperor Ashoka the Great, the kingdoms were divided into small kingdom. And small kingdom as well as, and now we'll connect the meaning of reorganization. That small kingdoms, though they were divided into small part, the bigger empire was divided into small part. Still then they had a organization, or they had their own construction. The kingdom has the small kingdom had their own functionings, their own designing, their own art and literature work. That's what reorganization. Though the kingdoms were being divided into small kingdoms, they had their own or independent organization, reorganized. The ruling policy, administrative policies were differently functioned, or the different way they ruled their kingdoms. That is the meaning of reorganization. And here we witness that Bhavishya and Dhruv also went to many kingdoms and small kingdom. They witnessed their different culture, different architectural work, different literature. That's what, my dear children, here we are discussing about class 6th chapter 6, the age of reorganization. Why the period followed reorganization? The period, so to say, 300 century BC or 250 century BCE followed this reorganization. After the great emperor Ashoka's downfall, emperor's downfall, the emergence of small kingdom, as well as they functioned, or the kingdoms functioned in their own way and with reorganization. That's the meaning of the period followed the reorganization after the downfall of Ashoka the Great. That's all, my dear students. I think I am clear to you, though I am just trying to connect Bhavishya and Dhruv, and then what is the period called reorganization, the age of reorganization. Why it is called age of reorganization? And that's what I wanted to just spell out and make it clear, the meaning of the chapter itself. Okay. I think after teaching that much, after having taught that one, let me go to the last Maurya Empire was assassinated. The last Maurya Empire or Mauryan Empire emperor was assassinated. Assassinated means beheaded, killed. Who killed him? The last Mauryan emperor was beheaded, assassinated, killed. By whom? By his own army general. By his own army general, name called Pushyamitra Shunga. Pushyamitra Shunga, his own army general, assassinated or killed him. After that, what he did? That Pushyamitra Shunga, after killing the last emperor of Mauryan emperor, he founded Shunga dynasty. He founded Shunga. According to his name, according to Pushyamitra Shunga, he founded or established Shunga dynasty. What is the meaning of dynasty? Dynasty means Rajvansha. The kings coming from the same family is called dynasty. So, who founded or who established Shunga dynasty? Shunga dynasty was founded or established by Pushyamitra Shunga. That's all, my dear children. Which period? During the period of 250 BCE, before Common Era. That's all. And then next, the kingdoms were divided and reorganized. Of course, after the downfall of Ashoka the Great or Mauryan Empire, the big empire was divided into small kingdoms. That's fact, and ruled by different rulers. Okay, all kingdoms faced attacks. Yes, all the kingdoms, that small kingdoms were scattered and they were fighting within the subcontinent. The big empire itself, different in small kingdoms, they were engaged in fighting each other and occupying the territory. That happened even within the subcontinent, within the empire, or within the subcontinent or the empire. There was attack from, they were fighting each other. So who were fighting each other? Shungas were fighting, Satavahanas were fighting, Chedis were fighting, Cheras were fighting, and Pandyas were also having battle with this among these small kings and kingdoms. They were engaged completely to occupying or completely engaged in war or battle and fighting for the territories. That is within the subcontinent, within the empire. They were fighting together to occupy or fighting to occupy someone's territory. That's where within the subcontinent there was also battle or fighting each other for the territory. Okay, then from outside also, from outside of the subcontinent also there was attack from Greeks came. Greeks were also attacking Shunga dynasty. Shakas outside of the country, Shakas also, and Kushanas also another dynasty. See, Greeks, Shakas, Kushanas, these are outside of the subcontinent or outside of the great empire. They were also attacking to occupy the territories of the great Mughal empire or the great kingdom. Okay, and of course that's the highlight of the chapter actually, my dear student. And here, what is the meaning of Sarge of Shunga dynasty? Sarge. What is the meaning of Sarge actually? Sarge. Sarge means a sudden rising of the empire called Sarge. Sudden rise or immediately, suddenly rising one empire. The sudden rise is called Sarge of the Shunga dynasty. And how it that I said already, Pushyamitra Shunga assassinated the last emperor of the Mauryan empire. And then what happened? This Pushyamitra founded a kingdom called Shunga dynasty, and organized Ashwamedha ritual. And this Pushyamitra Shunga organized or conducted an Ashwamedha ritual. What is the meaning of Ashwamedha ritual? My dear students, the olden days, the kings wanted to showcase themselves. They want to show their ability, they want to show their power. Therefore, they used to organize or celebrated a kind of yajna or a kind of worship is called Ashwamedha ritual. Ashwamedha, horse sacrifice war. Yes, horse sacrifice ritual or worship. Then why that horse is named here, horse sacrifice? Pay attention, my dear students. This concept many students do not understand. Why this Ashwamedha ritual or yajna is written here? Wow, who are the kings? Why these kings usually conducted or organized Ashwamedha ritual? These are even competitors. Those are preparing competitive exams. Beware of this concept. Ashwamedha, the king wanted to showcase himself. Therefore, anyone wants to be a powerful king, he was letting free a horse with their soldiers, with their armies, and that horse used to go to another kingdom entering. If the other kingdom's kings captured that horse, then they were believed to be or accepted to be a powerful ruler. If they did not capture the horse the king had let out to or sent out freely, then other kingdoms, if did not attack that horse, then it was accepted or considered the other kingdoms kings were just subordinate to the king who let the horse free and go. That's what. Here one example: the Shunga dynasty's king Pushyamitra Shunga. He wanted to showcase his power. Therefore, he let the horse free. At the same time, the horse was not blocked by any of the kingdoms at that time. That the local kingdoms, neither Satavahanas, nor Chedis, nor Cheras, or Greeks, even Sakas, Kushanas, none of them, no kings, no king. No king blocked the horse. Therefore, he was accepted as a great king. Pushyamitra Shunga was accepted as a great king, and he worshipped, not worshipped, he organized a Ashwamedha ritual yajna. And then all the territorial kings, other kings, used to attend the ceremony, attend the celebration of horse worshipping, or not worshipping, horse sacrificing yajna, horse sacrificing ritual yajna. That is why it is called Ashwamedha ritual. Am I clear to you how this kings wanted to showcase themselves as a powerful king? Therefore, they used to let the horse free, and if the horse was captured by other kings of the kingdoms, then there used to be a big battle or fight or war, and then that one who defeats, then he used to be the powerful king, and one who is being get defeated, then he is the loser, like that. And if in condition the horse was not blocked by any other kingdoms, let out the horse which was let out was not blocked by anyone, then obviously the horse and he or the king of that same kingdom declared to be a powerful king, and he used to organize or conduct an Ashwamedha ritual or sacrifice of the horse. See, my dear student, clearly understand things. Don't simply read. Okay. Then this Shunga dynasty was very powerful towards the north part of our subcontinent. North part means your so-called Uttar Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, whole north part territory of the subcontinent was occupied by the Shunga dynasty, and also, of course, central part of our country. Which are our central part of our country? Your Madhya Pradesh, even Chhattisgarh, and then your Jharkhand, Bihar. Of course, Jharkhand also. Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, this part also, parts were also occupied by the Shunga dynasty. Of course, the one will become powerful and then decline. It is the fact of the historical the studies that we are doing. A king will rise into power and then fall. That is the fact of the history that we are. So with this Shunga dynasty also slowly, by the 200 BCE century, 200 century BCE, the Shunga dynasty declines or his downfall comes. Then after their downfall or after declining of the Shunga dynasty, there another dynasty is coming into power. Which dynasty? The dynasty is called Satavahanas. These words also need to pronounce properly. See, Shunga dynasty, and then Satavahanas, And these names I am reading, and people, you may be laughing, or sometimes you need to practice. Shunga dynasty, Satavahanas, Chedis, Cheras, Cheras and Pandyas. And all those names you need to you make it used to be, or make it of your own pet words. Okay. Then Satavahanas rose as a powerful dynasty after the downfall of the Shunga dynasty. Who is coming? Satavahanas became powerful dynasty by the 2nd century BC. 2nd century BC means, so you know what is BC, before Common Era, before Christ era is called. The 2000 years after, we call it AD, or after the Jesus' birth is called AD, Anno Domini, and before Jesus' birth, is called BCE, before Christ era or before Common Era. Before Common Era means after Jesus' birth is called Common Era. That's all. So 2nd century BCE, powerful dynasty was Satavahanas. Okay, they developed navigation techniques. My God, see, they developed navigation techniques and technology. My God, during 250 or 2nd century BCE, they developed a navigation techniques. That means they constructed, they made big catamarans and ships, and they had navigation through that they developed a kind of trading system, business, trading, merchandise activity they developed. That's what navigation techniques and technology they developed. They minted coins with an image of a ship. So they had also currency, like we have currency, like European currency, dollar, euro, and even Indian currency, we know rupees. We have coins, and so many. So our national father of the nation, his image is minted in the coin. Like that, they also had minted a coin with the image of a ship, which implies they used, the Satavahanas have used navigation activity, shipping with shipyard. Through shipping, they had trade activities, and that was one means for their economical development, as well as, and this minted in the coin shows that they had used the ship for the trading activity, and that trading activity gave way for economic development in the kingdom. That agriculture also, they also had developed agriculture occupation. They want a whole Deccan Plateau. They occupied Deccan Plateau states like Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, even Madhya Pradesh. Those parts they had occupied Deccan Plateau states. And you know, Krishna River, Godavari River belt was the fertile soil for agriculture for Satavahanas. And out of agriculture, they developed their economical welfare or economical development they could achieve. See, my dear children, the trading activities through shipyard, through navigation, and then another economical development they developed through agriculture. Which belt? The river belt of Krishna and Godavari river belt gave way for agriculture, and which led to have economic development. Okay, with this Satavahana and Satavahanas economic activity, how they grew and how they became powerful, and which of the part of the empire they were very powerful. There are Deccan states, southern part of our country, they were powerful. And then Satavahana's tradition we have to know a little bit. What is their tradition actually? What is their actually they did? What is their pratha, custom, tradition actually? This princess means king's sons were named after their mother's name. See, all the princes, kings and princesses were named after their mother's name. Example is there. So they could not could not be called by their father's name, but they were called after their mother's name actually. One example, Gautami. Gautami Putra Satakarni was named after. See, one example, Gautami. Putra Satakarni was named after his mother Gautami. See, that prince, the Rajkumar, the princess were named after their mothers actually. Their mothers, and one example is given here. And where we can find these historical facts, we can find in the inscription. In the ब्राह्मी स्क्रिप्ट में लिखा गया वाला इंस्क्रिप्शन में मिलेगा सारी इंफॉर्मेशन. And one more thing also, this Gautami had donated land grants to the Buddhist monks. This Buddhist monk, this Satavahana's tradition is talking about Gautami, who had granted land grants to the Buddhist sages or Buddhist monks, which is written or inscripted in the Brahmi script, in the 3rd century. See, inscription we can find. That's what, in which language they had written? Brahmi script they had written. My dear student, Brahmi script, see one example I have given. This is modern English 1. How they used to write like this 1. See. And modern English 2. See how 2 was in Brahmi script, and number 2 is like this. See, number 1 is to be written like this in Brahmi script, and number 2 is written used to be written like this in Brahmi script. And where it is found? It was found in the inscription. What is inscription? Inscription means writing part on the walls, on the palm leaves, on the hard surface. Writing material is called inscription. All those inscription, all these evidences of land grant, all the evidences of the princess were named after mother's name, everything was written in the Brahmi script, in the inscription. That's what the Satavahana's tradition you can do. What is the tradition of Satavahanas? You need to keep 2-3 points. One is princes were named after their mother. 1 point. Second point, that Buddhist monks were granted lands for their stupas. And thirdly, they use Brahmi script, a different style of writing like this. 1 is written like this, 2 is written like this, and then after this, definitely Satavahanas are also becoming downfall, or the Satavahana dynasty also is coming down and falling down and declining slowly. And after that, their declination, Satavahana's declination or downfall, there is another dynasty is coming, the rise of Chedis. The rise of Chedis I will be discussing, I will be teaching you in the next chapter. My dear student, thank you so much. Hope you are gaining something out of my class. And try my level best to picturize detailed things of the chapter, whichever chapter I teach. But if you are not learning much thing, you are a gainer. You are learning something out of my lecture, out of my teachings. And one more thing I want to speak before I conclude this part. Another 2 parts are there of this chapter, the age of reorganization. Another 2 parts I will be teaching you. You just try to learn out of my YouTube channel. These all hard words, concept, everything, note it down. And this chapter question answers, hard word meanings, everything is below given below in the description box. And before that, I will request you to like my class and lecture and share to your friends also. And then finally, you may also subscribe the channel. Stay tuned. Bye bye. See you in the next class.